All right, let's jump right into this. I mean, just imagine literally carving a modern-day fairy tale straight out of a mountainside. Today's explainer has taken us on a seriously amazing journey through this breathtaking, newly built modern chateau. It's tucked right up in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. But look, this isn't just another story about a massive house. No, this is the story of a staggering, absolutely meticulous 11-year obsession with design and pure perfection.
Right out of the gate, we've got to look at the numbers, because they completely set the stage for what we're looking at. The price tag on this property, a cool $11,999,000. Yeah, basically a $12 million price tag. And that right there establishes the sheer luxury and honestly, the unbelievable scale of what we're about to unpack today.
So, what exactly does almost $12 million get you? Well, space. A lot of it. We're talking a staggering 21,692 square feet of interior space, to be exact. It's hard to even wrap your head around that. It brilliantly illustrates that this isn't just a home, it's basically a modern-day fortress. The whole thing spans 4 massive levels, all connected by these grand staircases and sprawling indoor balconies. But out of all those crazy numbers, the absolutely crucial one to remember is this: 11. It took the current owners a painstaking 11 years to design and build this masterpiece. 11 years! Literally every single detail, from the intense structural engineering down to the exact placement of every individual stone, was obsessed over for more than a decade. And honestly, the psychology behind that kind of uncompromising design is exactly what makes this place so uniquely captivating.
To really understand a home like this, we're going to break this explainer down into a few key areas. We'll look at the $12 million modern castle itself, those timeless architectural details, some wild and unique amenities, the multi-primary concept, and finally, wrap up with that Colorado mountain majesty.
So starting off with Section 1, the $12 million modern castle, and exactly how they went about building this fairy tale.
Just to contextualize the sheer magnitude of this private mountain compound, let's look at a few quick specs. It's located in a private gated community in Evergreen, Colorado, sitting on a massive 35.01-acre lot. The house itself features 6 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms. But you know what the real spark of inspiration was here? It was actually modeled right after the iconic Biltmore Estate down in Asheville, North Carolina. They really wanted to capture that classical, timeless chateau essence, but bring it fully into the 21st century.
Moving right along to Section 2, timeless architectural details, which is where incredible scale meets an absolute obsession with the minutiae. Now, what I find truly fascinating here is the incredible contrast between the outside and the inside of this property. On the exterior, you've got this very heavy classical aesthetic. It is perfectly symmetrical with these gorgeous chateau dormers, and it's clad entirely in real limestone that was shipped all the way from Austin, Texas. And check this out, the roof looks like heavy slate, right? But actually, scratch that. It's a highly engineered, lightweight plastic material that's designed for extreme durability, all accented with real copper flashing. But then, you step inside. Built back in 2015, the actual bones of this house are entirely modern steel and concrete. We're talking incredible barreled ceilings fully integrated with modern LED lighting. And get this, because the owners only lived in it for like 3 months, the whole place remains in this pristine, basically unused condition. It's wild.
But let's zoom in a little bit on that 11-year obsession we talked about earlier. If you look really closely at the marble walls in the bathrooms, you're going to see a detail called a pencil line, and it's exactly what it sounds like actually. It's this incredibly delicate, custom-cut piece of stone that acts almost like a crown molding border for the marble walls. Just imagine the sheer labor, the absolute microscopic precision, and honestly, the staggering patience required to hand-cut and install all these tiny, delicate details across multiple bathrooms. It is just awe-inspiring craftsmanship.
In this next detail, it absolutely hits the nail on the head when it comes to illustrating the level of perfection we are talking about here. Look at the floor. Those recessed AC diffusers aren't just your standard metal grates from a hardware store. Oh no. They actually took the black marble bordering the floor, custom cut it perfectly to match the pattern, and then clad the vents in the stone so they seamlessly, and I mean seamlessly, disappear into the floor. Guys, that right there, that is exactly what an 11-year design process looks like in practice. All right, on to Section 3, wild and unique amenities. This is exactly where the home goes from incredibly well-built to wonderfully eccentric. When you have over 21,000 square feet to play with, you can fit in some pretty unconventional features, right? For starters, the kitchen doesn't just have a standard oven. It has a massive indoor pizza oven, clad entirely in custom limestone. Have some pets? Well, there's an entire room dedicated strictly to washing your dogs, complete with custom dog-themed tiles. Seriously, hate carrying your laundry down the hall? Yeah, no problem at all. Every single one of the 6 bedrooms has its own washer and dryer hidden right inside the closet. But okay, the absolute climax of this luxury? Hidden behind a pocket door, right inside the primary bedroom's walk-in closet, is an actual heavy-duty walk-in vault. Like a bank vault. No way, right?
Now, speaking of that kitchen, it features this ultra-rare, flat patina stainless Lacornu stove. It's gorgeous. But right next to it is something that really sparks a great question. What exactly is a steam oven? Because this house has one. It's sitting there proudly right next to a conventional oven, and honestly, it's just one of those hyper-niche luxury appliances that kind of makes you smile. So if you happen to know exactly what a steam oven is doing that a regular oven isn't doing, you are officially way ahead of the curve.
But you know, the wildest amenity here might actually be one that doesn't even fully exist yet. Tucked away behind the walls on every single floor is this massive 4-story gaping concrete shaft. Now, the owners didn't actually install an elevator, but they definitely planned ahead. They poured the concrete and perfectly aligned the shaft across all 4 levels so that, hey, if a future buyer ever wants an elevator, the absolute structural nightmare of carving out that space, it's already completely solved. Talk about some next-level forward planning.
Which brings us to Section 4, the multi-primary concept. This is a home built completely without compromise. So in a typical mansion, you'd usually have one grand master suite and then, a bunch of standard guest rooms. Well, definitely not here. Instead, this layout literally spreads primary-level luxury all across the estate. So the main floor primary, it's got the walk-in vault we talked about, a jetted sunken tub, a TV actually built right into the bathroom mirror, and even a drop-down movie screen right over the bed. But then you go up to the 3rd floor, and there is a fully self-contained quarters up there. It has its own high-end mealy kitchenette, a living room, and a private rooftop deck. And then head down to the lower level, and you'll find these massive suites with their own jetted tubs, more of that crazy pencil marble detailing, and covered decks offering perfectly framed foreground mountain views. Literally every single guest gets a 5-star experience here.
And the sheer architectural genius behind these suites is just fascinating. For example, take the main primary bathroom. It features this stunning floor-to-ceiling marble cladding. But here's the thing, this wasn't just some aesthetic choice to look expensive. It was designed specifically to reflect the natural light pouring in from those classical grid windows. The reflection is so highly engineered, in fact, that you could literally turn off every single artificial light in that room and the bouncing natural daylight would keep it perfectly illuminated. It's basically a giant light box.
Moving on to Section 5, Colorado Mountain Majesty. Because, let's face it, a castle is nothing without its kingdom.
When you look out the windows of this home, all you see are untouched pine trees and the gorgeous snow-capped peak of Mount Evans in the distance. It honestly feels completely secluded, almost like you're standing in your own private national park. Yet, the magic number here is 40. Believe it or not, this untouched wilderness is only a 40-minute drive from the bustling heart of downtown Denver. So you really have this total, peaceful isolation, completely paired with total accessibility. Now, what I find truly interesting about all this is that despite 11 years of relentless work, the canvas isn't actually full yet. There is still an entire uncompleted basement level. And when you combine that with 35 acres of surprisingly flat mountain terrain outside, the unfinished potential here is just massive. I mean, the space is practically begging for a custom indoor pool, or maybe a massive home theater. Or as one of the construction crew actually pointed out, you could easily build a driveway down and create an insane subterranean car gallery. The possibilities are totally endless.
But when you strip away all the million-dollar price tags, the crazy walk-in vaults, and all that custom limestone, the true core of this property is perfectly captured in this quote from the tour. "It's so peaceful. It's so untouched and private. These are some of the best views I've ever seen in my life." And I think that just grounds all of this wild extravagance right back into the emotional reality of what it's like simply standing on that balcony and breathing in the crisp Colorado mountain air.
Which really leaves us with a final thought to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. We've seen exactly what an 11-year obsession with perfection yields when it's paired up with a $12 million budget. But I really want to ask you, if you had 35 acres of pristine mountain wilderness and 11 whole years to obsess over every single tiny detail, what would you build?